Hello and welcome. So far, our website looks great. We have added quite a lot of functionality. We can send emails, secure our content, store data in a relational database, process forms, and much more. Our entity model could be sounder though. Currently, we are allowing multiple users within the user table to have the same username and email. This is neither ideal nor correct. In the lecture, we will address this issue. We will create unique indexes for the username and email attributes in the user entity. Since this change will break quite a few tests, we will then do some refactoring to fix them. The first thing we will do is to ensure that we are pointing to the develop branch with the git command git checkout develop. Then, we will create a new feature branch called indexes with the git commands git checkout -b indexes, git push -u origin indexes. On a relational database, a unique index is an index assigned to a table column so that there can only be one value for that column in that table. The way I like to think about it is that a unique index is a potential candidate for a primary key, but it wasn't chosen to be one. If we think of the username and email attributes within the user entity, uniqueness is exactly what we want. Creating unique indexes with JPA is easy. All we have to do is to annotate the attribute we want to set as unique index with the @column annotation, setting the unique attribute to true. Another potential column for uniqueness is the Stripe customer ID, but it can't be unique because it can be null for non-pro users. However, this is not much of an issue, as we will not expose the Stripe customer ID to the web interface, whereas we will use the username and email uniqueness for the journeys we will be implementing later in the course. We can go ahead now and annotate the username and email attributes with the @column annotation, setting the unique attribute to true. If we run our tests now, not surprisingly, the ones which invoke the create user functionality fail, because all of them are using the user utils create basic customer method. To fix this, we need to slightly change this method's signature so that it accepts username and email as arguments, and then modify the current tests so that each one passes a different value. Let's start from the user utils create basic user method. We will add two parameters to this method. The first is the username and the second the email. Then, we change the method implementation to use these two parameters when creating the user instance. Now, we need to change the classes that use this method. We will start with the DevOps Buddy application class. We will declare two local variables in the run method, username and email. We could have simply passed the string directly to the method called, but defining the two local variables increases code readability. We will assign the value ProUser as username and the value ProUser@devopsbuddy.com as email address. Then, we will pass these two variables as arguments to the user utils create basic user method. Next, we will fix the repositories integration test methods. We will start by accepting two additional arguments in the create user method, as it's this method that invokes user utils create basic user. Then, we will simply pass these two arguments to the method invocation. Now, we need to change the create new user and test delete user methods. As a quick win, we can agree that as username and main email name, we will use the test name. There is a clever way of doing this. We can use the JUnit @rule annotation and testName class. The testName class offers a get method name which returns a test name being executed. So we will initialize the testName instance, prefixing it with the @rule annotation. Then, in the create new user method, we will declare two local variables, username and email. To the first, we will assign the value of testName get method name, and to the second, the same value postfixed with @devopsbuddy.com. We will do the same for test delete user. The beauty of this solution is that we don't have to hardcode any values. We can simply copy what we've written for the create new user method here. Now, we will need to change the test create new user method in the user service integration test class. We will follow a similar technique. In fact, we can copy the code from any of the two methods we've just updated here. If we run our tests now, they should all go back to green. This solution is not the best, but it will do for now. First, we should have idempotent tests as well as independent ones. Secondly, we could create a new class that encapsulates both the username and the email and refactor the code that sets the username and email to some utility class, so that we wouldn't have to duplicate the same code over and over again. Then we could use the object getters to retrieve the username and email values. However, this solution is good enough for now, and it allows us to progress with the course. The last thing we need to do is to close the Git flow workflow as usual. First, we push the local changes remotely with the git commands git add *, git commit -m, added unique indexes for username and email in the user entity, and git push. Then, we will merge the indexes branch to develop with the git commands git checkout develop, git merge indexes, and finally git push. With this lecture, we have completed the section on setting up Spring Security. We will come back to Spring Security in the next session, when implementing the Forgot My Password journey, but it will be to add little bits here and there. The groundwork for security has been completed. Well done! I'm really proud of you. Can you look back at Lecture 1 and pause a moment to think how much ground we've covered? You are amazing, and I'm really excited at the idea of going through this journey with you. My goal is to help you as much as I can better your lives and your careers. I'd be the happiest man on earth if, by the end of this course, you were able to get a pay rise or a better job, or if you were to use the DevOps Buddy web skeleton to launch your next e-commerce website. By the way, if you do so, I would like to hear from you. Thank you for your time, and I see you in the next section, where we will be implementing the Forgot My Password journey.